Thank you, Houston, and let's just jump right into Marvel and action. Just like how Infinity War is the culmination of 10 years worth of stories and characters, it is also the culmination of the action filmmaking essential to the franchise. While I will always support that these films are as successful as they are due to their strong foundation and character, it's also important to note that these films are also successful due to their thrilling action set pieces. After all, the key reason for the superhero boom in the first place was their ability to convincingly portray these impressive feats of heroism through the magic of digital effects. While Marvel has had a wide range of quality in its dozens of action scenes, few can deny that directors Anthony and Joe Russo have elevated the art form of the superhero set piece. Every single action scene in their 2 Captain America films are jam-packed with clever choreography, kinetic motion, and important character moments. When I think about their action, I think about the multiple ways in which their characters interact with each other, the way they keep coming up with new ways for their characters to showcase their powers. It's the expression of character that really matters in these large-scale action scenes. What reveals the most about a character's intentions are the way that they move. Action is character. Avengers Infinity War certainly puts this idea to the test, telling a story with over 20 important characters and twice as many minutes of action. Many of these characters have no more than a couple of speaking lines, and thus have to prove their worth through their shared action screen time. Now, before we talk about these fight scenes and how they function, we also have to discuss their MacGuffins, the Infinity Stones. Every single action scene revolves around protecting or retrieving one of these stones. Many characters are tasked with containing these stones, with some being tied to their fate. Because of this, the action scenes less resemble the typical fight the army, save the city, and stop the Doomsday Device format we're so familiar with, and more become an intricate game of hot potato, as the stones and their keepers go in and out of trouble. The vast majority of characters showcase their powers through their attempts to protect these stones, and the way in which the film is able to juggle so many different characters within these action scenes is through an action filmmaking principle called the reversal. The best way to understand the function of a reversal is to break action scenes down into verbs. At any given point, a character is trying to achieve an objective through a specific action, whether it be a jump, a swing, a block, or a kick. Each verb is also directly tied to a character's power set and personality. A reversal is the interruption of one of these verbs, often through the interference of a new verb from a separate character. These mixing and matching of verbs are key. They are what allow the filmmakers to showcase so many power sets and character dynamics in an engaging manner, and these reversals happen constantly. Let's take a look at one of my favorite action beats in the entire film, where Spider-Man attempts to rescue Doctor Strange and the Time Stone from Ebony Maw. First, Ebony Maw attempts to grab Doctor Strange through his telekinesis, but only manages to grab his cloak. This sends Strange flying through the air, allowing Spider-Man to web him to safety. However, Ebony's ship manages to intercept Strange, beaming up the two of them. While flying upward, Spider-Man grabs a street lamp below, only for Maw to once again use his telekinesis to lift the street lamp from its foundations, thus sending Strange and Spider-Man flying towards the ship. Within the span of 20 seconds, we were shown 5 different reversals, with each one showcasing a character's power set that propelled the action forward in an interesting way. These reversals are often the key driving these action scenes, like how the Avengers keep finding new ways to prevent Thanos from using the gauntlet, or how the film plays with stakes as Iron Man's suit constantly evolves and then eventually devolves. Alright, enough about reversals. Let's get back to the idea that action is character. While every character is tasked with the same mission, the manner in which they take on this task becomes another form of character expression. Everyone gets the same call to action, but their actions are all over the place. Tony Stark, for instance, chases after Doctor Strange and the Time Stone in space, using Ebony Maw's ship as an opportunity to take the fight to Thanos. Captain America, on the other hand, stays grounded on Earth, rescuing Vision and the Mind Stone to take them to the safest place he knows. Thor ignores the stones entirely and decides to venture off and make a weapon capable of killing Thanos. These forms of action and how the Avengers engage with Thanos are not only specific to their power sets, but also reflect upon the driving forces of these characters, how Tony needs to confront Thanos and the fear he represents. How Captain America, when put into a fight, will always prioritize protecting his fellow soldier. How Thor is so driven by grief that he only seeks vengeance.
You die for that.
All three of these missions, these three different mindsets, fail, partly due to unforeseen consequences, partly due to the Avengers' inability to match Thanos' cruelty. Ultimately, this failure is made through their choices. With the fate of an Infinity Stone in the air, each of these action scenes result in an ultimatum. The game of hot potato goes cold, and our heroes are forced to take a life of one of their own. As expressed through their action, our heroes are selfless enough to risk their own lives, but not selfish enough to take one. For many, it goes against their defining principles.
We don't trade lives, Vision.
They rather refuse to make the choice or are too late to take it. The odds are stacked against them. And ultimately, this is why I love the action in Infinity War. Our heroes face an unwinnable battle, but they fight it anyway. They stick to their core values despite those values bringing their downfall. Their loss through action defines why we care for them in the first place.